We are diving right in, and one of the things that we have out there in our industry is ways of getting in front of people. And there are the individual methods. There are producers that it's one-on-one, it's referrals, and then one of the most effective ways that we all know is the more people you can get in front of at one time, the more efficient you can be. You have the opportunity then to the economies of scale. I'm going to actually start because my start right there kind of stinks. But I love this guy. You're such a sweetheart. Okay, so Jay, we're going to start right here. And as we all know in our industry, getting in front of new people is crucial. And there's a ton of different ways. And there are ways that from a one-on-one basis, referrals, dinner, a one-on-one dinner, cold calling, if anybody's still doing that. Knocking on doors, I did that. That's actually terrifying.
Yes.
Which also, because it was so terrifying, I now will buy just about anything somebody comes and knocks on my door because I understand that. But then, most efficient and maybe most effective and maybe one of the most debatable is seminars. Getting in front of a group of prospects at one time. There's no denying that is one of the most efficient ways of doing things. And Todd, you are fantastic at that. And so joining me today, we're going to have a conversation about how you all do seminars. So joining me today, we have Todd Wooten, and we have, Gal Friday, right-hand woman, Michelle Earp, Vice President of Operations. And welcome to the podcast.
Well, thank you, Dennis. We look forward to being here with you.
I am excited to have you here. And as a rarity, I just for anybody that's watching this, I do want to point out that you do not have to pay to be on this podcast. We have a stack of cash here. I cannot wait to hear how we're going to use this. What I want to do is I want to have that conversation about how you do seminars. And I think that anybody out there that does seminars currently would be interested in how somebody else does it and the little tools and tricks. And I think that's really neat in your perspective because you've done these for years. And then I'm really excited to have you here, Michelle, because your perspective, when I get to sit in on a conversation and listen to two other people talk, it's interesting what you can see and what you can hear. And so it's going to be very interesting. I think your take on the process is going to be different than, what is Todd looking for when at the front of the room? What do you see? I love it. This is going to be interesting. So let's talk right off the bat. So what kind of seminars are you currently doing? Do you do dinner? Are you doing education? What do you got going on?
We do a lot of dinner seminars. We've been doing them for years, and they've obviously changed over the years in the amount of people that come, the type of people that come, and with COVID. And so, but I think they're coming back, and it's an old staple of something that we've been doing. But we've always gotten wonderful clients, and they become part of the family, and they refer us to many other people. And so it's been a true resource for us to get together and really to have fun. I love to speak. I love to meet with clients, and I love to create community. And so by having a dinner seminar, it's a little bit of a community.
Yeah.
We'll do client appreciation dinners. We'll do lunch and learns for teachers, and we'll do educational workshops. But the seminars we love to do, they love to break bread together and have fun. I will tell you, every seminar is different. I mean, just the type of people that come in, the vibe, how they react, how they respond, what they're looking for. Are they like this? Are they open to have a conversation? And Michelle can actually read them as they're coming in.
I look forward to hearing about this. So let me, I do know that you're perfect for a group event because you are such a wonderful person. And you give off this, you give off like a warmth. And so it's a perfect fit for you where somebody else that may be a little more standoffish, or maybe the best word for you is genuine.
Genuine, personable.
Yes. And so being able to get that out in mass is awesome. Now, I want to go and ask Michelle a question. I want to bring you in like real quick. Without saying where you're at, tell us a little bit about the market that you're in, the city, the area, urban, rural. You guys are in Indiana, so I guess
we're in Indiana. Yeah, we're in a college town, so not huge.
About 30,000.
30,000.
Yeah.
The area. And then we can expand a 50-mile radius, and it would be probably
a lot of small
100,000.
towns around our town as well that we kind of market to as well. But college town.
You want to adjust those because you'll kill me later because it pushed your hair funny. And I know that you people with hair, that's important. I want you to.
Am I good now?
You look great.
Okay, thanks.
Okay, there you go. It pushed it all for you. You would have.
Oh God, I would have been furious with you.
You would have been furious. Okay, so right now, as it goes, as far as so you're doing dinner seminars. When you look at, say, the process as far as how you're getting them there, are you using direct mail, Facebook? What are you doing?
Well, I think we use a combination of stuff. We rely heavily on you folks, Creative One Marketing, and you do a great job. And you've always got people at the seminars. And so we'll do a lot of the social media only with Facebook advertising. And we'll do a hybrid, basically do mailings. And then we've done mailings. So it takes a mixture of all for it to really work out. And depending upon the community, depending upon the venue, depending upon the time of year, you'll get different responses. You'll get different types of people. Yeah. And so, but over time, the ROI is there. And you just meet a lot of wonderful people. I like to interact with people. I know some guys do not, or gals. But we like to go in there and shake hands, talk a little bit, and just get to know people, make them feel comfortable, make them feel at home. We'll have a video, basically, of showing our community events that we do and the stuff that we do in our community. So when they walk in, it's like a slideshow presentation of what
all the
we
fun
do.
Fun things that we've done.
There you go, the fun things. So it's not just
business.
Yeah. How do you pick your location?
It's really tough where we're at, a small community. And I don't like just banquet halls that are pretty boring. We like a nice restaurant that has a room, has good food. And so we're blessed just down the street. We have a restaurant called The Dish, and they have a separate room. We've been there for years. They know us. They like us. They know our process. We tip them. We even tip the kitchen people, and just, make them feel special and thank them. And they, in turn, really do a great job
treat us
for
really
us.
well.
Yeah.
And the food is good.
Did you look at different restaurants?
We do, yeah. We do try to branch out a bit, but we kind of tend to stick with the home court. It's so close to the office. It's really nice to be able to tell people when they book an appointment that we're literally 5 minutes down the street.
Oh, that's nice. Yeah.
So and because we've grown such a relationship with them, they treat us really well and go above and beyond for us.
Does the restaurant's name in your community, is it?
It is a well-known.
Okay, so when you say, we're at the Dish,
we're at the Dish, people pretty much know that, if they're from the town. It's not like we have Ruth Chris or something like that in a small town. So that's, what we is our main.
Where you go to.
Yeah.
What is it is the Dish the kind of place that maybe you'd go for a special occasion or just a nice Friday night kind of thing?
I would say it would be appropriate for both, but it is, I would say, on the higher end restaurant in town. So a lot of special occasion kind of place that would be, I would think.
Any competition that uses the place?
There used to be, but not so much anymore. Yeah. We're kind of the advisors. Now we do have a couple of attorneys that will use the venue for their workshops, but there's a few other places that other advisors go to, but they like us. They want to give us as much as we need. And so it's pretty much our little known place. And people love the food. We give out dinner certificates, and they love it. No one has ever complained.
Oh, let's come back to that. So on the setup, when the room setup itself, do you set up in classroom style, or do you do the rounds?
We've got round tables.
Rounds?
Yes.
Do you like that?
I like that. It allows
Tell me why. Yeah.
It allows me to walk around the table and shake hands, pat them on the shoulder, visit with them, and then I like to walk the room. I don't like standing in one place with a podium. There's no podium, and we just kind of walk the room, interact, engage, connect with the folks, and so the round table allows us to do that. And then those that are up front, they just kind of fold their chairs back a little bit so they can see the slide.
Gotcha.
And so it sets up real nice to where we're not in the way of the line of sight from the PowerPoint.
Are you wearing so I'm a soft talker. And if I can, I tend to prefer to be mic'd up, just because it's just easier on my voice and that.
We've done it both ways.
What do you think?
He's had a mic, and then we've not done a mic for quite a long time because he does have a very good projection when he's talking.
Ouch. Hey, I just said I was a soft talker.
I'm sorry.
That's okay. so you prefer no mic?
I prefer a mic.
Oh, you do?
Because it's nice for them to really hear.
Yeah.
But the room that we have is only about 30 people.
Okay.
And we've done it both ways, and the work that it takes to have a mic and some of the feedback in the small. It was just better to have off. And so we've been doing it that way. But we used to have a big Bose system. It was portable. I mean, you could speak to a group of 300, and it was wonderful. But it was a lot of work packing everything around. So we have a nice speaker. Technology is really advanced. We plug in and we play music when they come in. That's very important to me, is that music is going on. And we'll play Frank Sinatra and some of those type of songs, and then they're watching the PowerPoint.
Yeah.
And but for the most part, we don't use the mic at a couple of the venues that we use.
Did it just end up being a thing where maybe you forgot it one time, or what made you decide to go without?
No, I just I think because it's been quite a few years since we've used a mic, and I think that there just wasn't enough of a difference really to make it necessity.
Make it worth the while.
Make it a necessity. And he does have, in that room, it's not a huge room.
Yeah.
So it's comfortable, and he's not yelling. He's not having to yell. It's his regular voice, so he's not yelling or anything like that. And it just didn't seem to be a necessity.
What about, had you tried the room classroom style? Had you tried any other seating arrangement, or was it just
in a different venue? We actually just looked at a different venue last week, and I preferred the rounds. Like when we left and we were kind of talking about it, I'm like, I didn't like that setup as much. Do you agree?
It was hard to get to the end people.
Yeah.
If the classroom style, depending on where you open up, and those that are furthest back, it's harder to reach in and shake their hand and look them in the eye. And so we've done a lot of teachers' workshops in classrooms. It's not a dinner. And so all of that is classroom style, and it works out well. But for dinner, it just seems the round table is our personality.
I think it feels more comfortable in a round table as
well.
well.
I think so
if
too.
Everybody's sitting around a round table, and you wouldn't believe how people just kind of get to chatting, that are meeting each other for that first time.
Yeah, it's like when you go to one of those what's the place where they
like a hibachi.
Yeah, hibachi. Yeah. You can never really talk to whoever you're with because they're down.
Correct.
But when you're at a round table, you have a line of sight to everybody.
Do you think it sets the mood different too?
I think so, because it's amazing that humans like to interact. They like to talk. And we've never had a problem of people who couldn't talk to one another. In fact, after the workshop or the seminar, they're still in there talking. We're ready to go home.
I'm ready to pack up, and they're still in there chatting.
So, I like that. You said community a little bit ago, and that's right in there.
Oh, we had a dentist who is coming into the office, and he commented that he met this gentleman. He's already done dental work on him. They've gone out to a couple shows, and they've gotten together.
Nice.
At our dinner
seminar, and he just loved the fact, the way it was set up, that he could interact and met someone that has gone out and done different things with.
Now, I want to go back to something you said a little bit ago. You said, so you had said that you give them a dinner certificate, or do they have? How does the meal work with the dinner seminar?
Okay, we do the seminar first. We're about 50 minutes, so I'm real sensitive to not overdoing it, because I believe you want to be done with them before they're done with you.
Good philosophy. And
so we try to hold it right at 50 minutes, 55 minutes, and then they'll come in and start to serve. So the kitchen knows kind of our timing. They know our process, and they start to come in and bring in the food. It's done very quickly, so not a lot of people are waiting. And then as they eat, they have their form to turn in. Michelle does a fantastic job going around and delivering that and asking or answering questions, going through it. And then we use it as a drawing. And so at the end, after they finished eating and we've gathered all of the response sheets, we do a drawing and give them a $50 dinner certificate for that restaurant.
Oh, no,
okay.
So in addition, great way to get them back in. Okay, so dinner after. And what you said, my mom would always tell me not to overstay your welcome, and that is right there. Yeah. Okay, so let's talk a little bit then. So we're doing kind of a mixed social media paper, to get folks there. We've got a location, we've got the room set up. So let's talk about what time of day?
We start at 6 o'clock.
6 o'clock. On the dot, or do you wait a little bit?
We start right on the dot.
I love that.
I'm a stickler for punctuality.
I love that. I saw I was watching a show last night, and the lead character is talking to his daughter, and she said, well, we'll be on time. And he said, no, you're never on time. You're either late or you're early.
If you're on time, you're late. That's my motto.
That's right. I like that. I like that a lot. Okay, so we've set the room. The room is set. It's showtime. So you all get there. How early do you all get there?
I like to be early. Sometimes you just never know. These people want to show up 40 minutes early sometimes, So I like to get there. If it starts at 6 and I have the entire room set up to do, I'm normally there by 4:30.
I could not agree with you more. One of the things doing virtual things a lot, one of the things that I do know is you can pretty much solve just about anything. If you have time. If
I have time. Yeah. And if I don't like people looking over my shoulder, if we're still trying to set up and people are coming in, like I don't care for that. So I like to be early. And then if I'm sitting there and just, waiting for a little bit, I'm completely fine with that. Everything's done and I know it's done and my mind is settled,
You and me.
Yeah.
You and me both. So do they, question on setup then, do they provide the screen and do they provide a projector? Or is
we bring all of that.
Okay.
Yeah, we bring all of that and set all of that up. We have we know our equipment. Mm-hmm. They have a big TV that we could connect to, but I know our equipment and everything, so we're comfortable doing it that way. So that's the way that we've continued to do it.
Well, the TV would have to either be like they're right behind you. We've got one on wheels.
Yeah,
and it would have to be.
This is affixed to the wall too.
Is it big? I mean, it'd have to be a monster.
It's a pretty good size, but I never figured out logistically because Todd is very mobile when he's speaking and has to have a big space. So I will set him up in the corner where he has like the whole length to move around in. Yeah,
like a pacing tiger.
Yes, he is. He does not stay still.
But we do have one thing that's really worked out nicely and it's helpful is that our projector has like a little bit of a fisheye lens.
Yeah.
So it's very close to the screen.
Yes.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah, it can be set up super
It's not set out there where I'm in the way of it. So it's right there, right in front of the screen, showing up so that I can walk around.
It's not obtrusive at all.
I have a vague dream, like a bucket list thing. I would love, because I present a fair bit, I would love to present using an overhead projector like when we were in school, like with a sheet and write on it.
I love that.
That would be so
film.
fun. Yes, to draw on that. I don't even know if I'd have to go to like an antique store, but I would love to do that. Okay, so you've got things set up.
Yeah, so everything is set up, and then when people start coming in, I've got a big setup table where they'll pick up their materials. I check them in, chat with them a little bit, and direct them where to go.
Do you give them name tags? Is that weird? Have you ever tried that?
We have, and we haven't. Most recently, we have not been doing name tags, but what I did end up doing, since we're not doing name tags, is I have table numbers now. So when I get their response sheets, they have the table number on there, so I know where I'm going, and I know kind of in the location to find somebody.
Like if they win,
if they've won, if we actually book appointments at the end of the meetings. So I have materials and stuff that I meet with everybody that's booked an appointment at the end. So I need to be able to locate them. But we did name tags for a while. I think it was just was it odd for some people? Sometimes. Name tags, and then sometimes people didn't even put them on.
Yeah.
So.
Well, so now you said something very interesting there. And then we're pulling you in here in a second, and I want to know what the deal with the money is. And that stays in the studio, by the way. That is now studio.
Oh, that's studio property. Oh, boy, you just messed up,
That's
Todd.
a nice stack. So you just said that you're going. So you find out if somebody's is going to schedule an appointment, and you go back to that table, and you have material to deliver them.
Yes.
So
I have a chat with everybody that's booked an appointment.
So that means, though, when are you finding out? I think I know, but when are you finding out that someone booked an appointment?
So we have a list of appointment times on our response sheet.
Okay.
So we pick those up at the end of the chat. So once Todd is finished and right as dinner's coming in, I'll pick those up.
So are those sitting on the table?
Those are given to them as part of their materials when they check in.
Perfect.
Yeah. So we'll pick those up at the end of the presentation, and then so I'm going through those as they're starting dinner and everything, and then as soon as everybody's kind of winding down with dinner, I'll go back in and have a chat with the people who did book appointments.
Okay, so you pick them up, you go through them pretty quick like a bunny.
I go through them real quick, get all the the materials, and then we have like appointment sheets and everything that I give to them for them to take home.
Did that say on the sheet that they get to book the appointment? Did it have the times?
It does.
Okay, so
so I normally have I think there's 6 days worth of varied times that I block on Todd's calendar and we like to get them in preferably within a week, 2 weeks.
As soon as possible.
2 weeks tops. So I do try to give them a lot of different options as far as morning, afternoon, evening. Not always do they work for everybody, but a lot of times I'll have a chat with somebody because they'll say, can't do these times, and then I'll chat with them afterwards and say, I'll follow up with you and we'll get a time that works for you.
What do you do if somebody double books? That has to happen, doesn't it?
Okay, so this is the trick on my sheet is that they have to pick a couple times.
Nice. Okay,
perfect. Like put a number 1, number 2 next to your preferred times. And it always happens that somebody's picked the same times, so then we just go to their number 2.
Do you do that right then and there? Or are you like
I am doing, as soon as I pick those up, I am on the outside table going through all the sheets and getting all of that put together. Yes.
That is how many seminars did it take till you got that process down? Because I think a lot of people would miss it.
We've been doing it for a while, and I know a lot of that has kind of metamorphosized over time. Like we've made this little change or did this little change, but we've been doing it this way for several years now.
Yeah, a number of years. I've always believed in getting appointments at the seminar.
Right, while the iron's hot.
And I would always have an appointment card with a paper clip with the business card, and I'd have them sitting at a table. So as they got up, before they got their food, they would pick their card and we'd hand them a packet. And it was a little bit cumbersome. But
that was before my time.
And she helped us to
I made it more efficient.
simplify it, become more efficient. But I'm a big believer at getting the appointment at the seminar.
While the emotion is there.
Right, they're excited about it. They've gotten all of this information. They've connected with Todd and I. So
I like I really like I'm going to be a like junior psychologist here, but I like the reinforcement of they took the time to mark that they want an appointment, but I think a lot of people probably would just leave it at that and then collect that and then make the call to confirm. Yeah. Maybe a day later, 2 days later, you're reinforcing that appointment like right then.
That before they leave.
I like that a lot.
They're having a conversation with me before they leave.
Do you have a piece of paper?
I do.
Let me have that.
You need a pen?
Nope. Here's what happens. After the seminar, they've gotten this amount of information and knowledge, and they're excited, their emotions are high, and they're like, yes, I really need to meet with this gentleman. First day goes by, they remember half of what they heard. Visual. Then the next day, they remember half of that, and then half of that, and then half of that. And a week goes by, and you pretty much have forgotten about everything you've heard. And so
you guys are doing it. That's so brilliant. That is so brilliant.
So the emotions are there, and it's high. So I apologize for tricking you.
No, that's great. That's a great visual too. Consider that one borrowed.
Okay, absolutely. You use it.
Okay, so we've walked through that part. You're setting the appointments up. You're getting that recommitment. You're getting the packet that they need, and then the appointments happen. So, one question: what happens to the people? What do you do? What interaction do you have with the folks that don't sign up?
That evening, I mean, everybody still gets a a little bit of a chat with us, but they do get the follow-up afterwards.
Okay, so there's the two. You're triaging. You're hitting the people.
Correct.
Right?
Yeah, because you've got just a small time frame of them finishing dinner and wanting to get out the door. Sometimes. So my main focus on that evening is the people who have booked appointments.
Absolutely.
Making sure they get their materials, that they know that we're just down the street. Call me if you have any questions or anything like that.
Okay, so let's back up and let's go on your side then, and then I'm going to ask you the same question too. So you roll in like Elvis, coming in because you're the headliner here. How early do you get over to the venue?
I'm usually at the venue about 15 minutes before.
Okay,
and so I'll be at the office. I like a little downtime to kind of just role play in my mind. Sometimes I'll go exercise or take a walk or just do something. And so I can actually, when I show up, I'm focused, I'm relaxed, I'm ready to go. My mindset is correct. And then I'll go in there and shake hands and get to talk to people and visit with them.
I like what you just said there, getting into the right mindset, because a lot of times people don't, and they just think that they can, I'm just going to roll in. And this is skin in the game, and taking it seriously. I think a lot of folks don't take things seriously, and then they wonder why it didn't turn out the way. Well, it didn't turn out the best because did you give it your best? Right. And so I like that. So 15 minutes, you're coming in, and so a lot of people probably would be seated at that point, right?
There's a few, not a lot. The last 15 minutes, they start coming in. It's enough for me to start talking. And as I'm talking, others are coming in.
Sure.
So it allows me to keep building on that talk.
Well, let me ask you this. So are you, when you come in, are you hanging out? Are you in the area where the outer room and talking to people as they come in? Or are you in the room itself, or are you just come right up on stage when it's when it's 6:00? Is that when you're entering the room and they're seeing you for the first time?
No, I will. If there are people registering, I'll shake their hand and welcome them.
He'll normally come in and check in with me first.
Check in with her. Do I need anything? And once I've done that, I go into the room. And then if I go and talk to everybody and no one's in yet, I'll come back out and visit with them and then shake some hands of people registering. And then at 6:00, she comes in and does a soft opening, and then I'll come up and then take over.
Oh, I like it. So you're doing
I do an introduction.
Okay. Well, let's back up just one second. As people are coming in, I'm curious about some Todd and Michelle-isms here. So are there things you both have a lot of experience with human nature. You have a lot of experience with doing seminars. So are there things when people are coming in, are there things that, you're like, or things that you see that you just have a sixth sense for now?
I absolutely do. I think that's why he comes in and checks in at the table with me first, because I a lot of times just kind of have a vibe about how the night's going to go just by how people were coming to register. You can tell a lot of times, like if people kind of match your energy, or if they come in kind of like if they're grumpy or, stuff like that. And a lot of, it's true. Most of the time I'm like, oh, this is going to be a good crowd, or, oh, this one's a little iffy, and a lot of times the results of the seminar match what my initial vibe was. Yeah.
So what about what are some things are there things that you see, or you've gotten kind of the lay of the land, the read on the room from Michelle, and when you get up there, what do you see? Is there any things that you?
It varies. Every seminar is
so different.
And so a lot of times you'll see a few people that'll sit there like this. They're just kind of observing. Some are already interacting with the people they're sitting next to. Others are flipping through some of the materials that we've given them as they checked in. And some are ordering a drink, So everybody's different. So I really like to go around the room and shake their hand, look them in the eye, and pat them on the shoulder. But we try to get their attention. So throughout the seminar, I'll do different things to get them engaged. I'm a big believer. Everybody get your note page out. You got your pen. So I'll walk them very simply through it. And one, I'll say, I want you to write this word down.
Write this down, yeah.
And write the word the IRS, put them together and tell me what it spells. So they get their paper out, their pencil, and they're writing down the IRS.
Yeah.
And they all start laughing and says, theirs. And I said, exactly. They think your money is their money.
I like so you're doing that specifically to get them engaged.
Correct.
Are there, when you're seeing folks come in and maybe from your perspective, standing up and looking out on the crowd, which one thing I have to tell you, so having stood up before, one thing that always amazes me is that people think that you don't notice when they're playing with their phones.
Oh, yeah.
It's like I see you. Like I can,
right.
I see you goofing around. Okay, red flags. Any red flags where you see somebody come in, you're like, nope.
I think for one, people who are immediately asking what's for dinner sometimes. I've actually gotten emails prior to them showing up asking what is for dinner. That normally makes me think, are you just coming for the dinner? I think that's one. Anybody that's just rude. You know, like you've interacted with me for 4 seconds and you are so rude. You know, that's big red because we're very kind.
Are so nice. Yeah,
we're very kind.
Yeah.
I try to be really energetic and upbeat when people are. I mean, they're just checking in, you know. But I try to be, you know, excited about that. And sometimes people are just like real matter of fact or real just like, well, you know, give me my stuff and let me go on about my business.
Yeah. What about you? Anything that you see from up there where you're like, yeah.
It's just their facial features. Or they're chatty with their spouse.
Oh, that makes,
And
like how do you mean? Like whisper, like pss, pss, pss,
yeah. They'll lean over and chat
talking
with their
during
spouse
the presentation.
During the presentation, when I see somebody, we don't really see people fall asleep. That's a rarity. If it is, it's someone that's quite older.
Yeah.
And but usually, if there's a lot of chattiness going on with a spouse and or the phone, and that's when I'll say, get your paper out. And so instead of directing it, you know, with them individually, I'll end up asking them to pull out their note sheet. And then I have a number of things. I'll say, how many of you own something in this room? Raise your hand.
Oh, so you have some tricks of the trade that you've learned to kind of head off.
Right.
Oh, I like that.
And then I'll walk around and you know, pat them on the shoulder or something as I make a point. But I'll ask them, I said, how many in here own something? And they'll raise their right hand. And I make them do it. I said, how many in here love somebody? And I said, raise the other hand. I said, if you own something and you love someone, you plan for it. Because if you don't, guess who does? And then I get them to shout, well, the government does. And
I love it.
So little things like that keeps them focused, engaged, connect with them. But I don't just sit there and stand up there and talk and just let people get away with things. That's why I like to interact with them. And it makes them, it kind of calls them out in a bit. I had last year a state planning seminar where the attorney was talking. This guy was asking all these questions, and questions are good, but we usually ask people to hold it off to the end. And, but he was being a little arrogant. He was being a little just rude with the attorney. And the attorney is a good attorney. You know, his speaking ability may not have been the best, but he was doing a good job. So I just walked over there, put my arm around his shoulder, and I said, Joe, let me ask you a question. I said, is this your meeting or our meeting?
Oh, wow.
And he goes, well, it's your meeting. I said, are you paying the bill or am I paying the bill? He says, well, you're paying the bill. I said, out of respect and courtesy for all those that are in here wanting to learn what the attorney has to say, would you mind holding your questions till the end? And we'll be more than happy to help you through that. And actually, we got a little bit of a clap and a cheer from the audience.
Because he was just being obnoxious.
He was just being great.
That's a rare case.
Yeah, that takes a lot of confidence to wrestle that down like that. I love it.
Yeah, you have to be in charge because the room will control you or you control the room.
That's a great phrase.
So you have to, and most times they're nice, but every once in a while you'll get that stickler who's just grumpy. That's just who they are, their way of life. They look at what's wrong, not what's right. They'll want to complain about the food, even though the food is good. That's just, part of it. But
some people are just not happy.
Yeah. But I like to, I said, how many have a thumb? They laugh. And I said, raise your right thumb. I said, how many have a fingerprint? And they go, well, we all do. I said, do you all have the same fingerprint or are all of you different? Well, we're all different. Yeah, you're unique. You have your own unique financial fingerprint. That's why we need to sit down with you individually and plan. So it's just getting them engaged, asking them questions, try to break that pattern of whatever they're in to be able to, keep things moving forward, because we do set ourselves up for 50 to 55 minutes. If you're answering a lot of questions and you're trying to deal with people who,
and it can get way off topic real
rabbit holes.
easily.
Yeah, sure.
Now, I have to say this. I want her to walk you through. Recently at a seminar, we had a lady who had walked out. She was on the other side of the room.
Really?
And she had walked out to go use the restroom. But I'll let you finish the story.
Oh, geez. A very comical story. So in this instance, I was sitting in the back of the room right by the door. So I kind of, listen in. Sometimes I'm in, sometimes I'm out. It just kind of depends on what's going on. But in this instance, I was sitting by the back door. And first of all, it just bothers me when somebody gets up in the middle of a presentation, and walks, especially when you're at the very front and then you have to walk through everybody. You're pulling the attention. You can't help but to look at what's happening, So she gets up, so I'm already, kind of irritated. Well, she walks back in, and the poor dear had went to the restroom, and she had a trail of toilet paper about this long from the top. Not like on her shoe, but like in her waistband. Like a tail, exactly like a tail. And walked past me, because I'm right there at the door, and then walked through the entire crowd back to her seat in the front, and I literally almost lost my mind. I had to get up and walk out. It was too much.
Did she have it on when she left?
So when everybody was leaving at the end, somebody did tell her. I saw when she stood up, and the person that was next to her was like, "Oh my gosh," and told her. She was mortified, of course, but yeah, that was probably our. I couldn't take it.
Well, have you ever had to ask someone to leave?
I have had years ago. I just said, I'm buying the mill. And I apologize that obviously this isn't a good fit for you. You're not comfortable here. You're interrupting the flow of what we've done for years. And I'm just going to ask that you would leave, for the benefit of all those that are here that want to learn. And so again, I got a little bit of a applaud, but the individual got up and left.
Love it. Golly, Todd, you're such a nice, warm guy, but everything you're saying, the control of the room, like you're very laid back, but your control and how you're managing the room is just your command of the room. Yes. That's probably the right term.
Because it just takes one person to really undo everything that you've put all your effort into for the evening, So we take that pretty seriously.
It is serious, because this is a big expense.
Sure.
This is our livelihood. And people are there for information. And you've always got those individuals who like to do whatever based on their personality. And, it's my responsibility to make sure they don't ruin the experience that others are trying to get.
And
as a result of
the other
being
people
there.
in the room appreciate that, though, too. Like, they you can tell that it's affecting everybody else in the room.
Now, just so for anybody who's thinking about doing seminars, I can't imagine that happens all that often.
Very rare.
Don't want to scare anybody.
No, very rare.
Most people are kind and friendly.
Yeah.
So you've got a little open.
I do. I have 3 minutes, probably 4 minutes.
Kind of set the stage, introduce Todd.
I do a little bit of the housekeeping items, at the beginning, a little bit of information about Blue Sky in general and Todd, and a little introduction for him.
So then you exit stage left.
Yes.
Do you stay in the room or do you leave? Do you go sit outside?
It really depends. It depends on how the leading up to that point has went. I normally will at least step outside for 5 to 10 minutes, because I connect with the server and everything and just make sure that that's all taken care of. We actually, because of the way the venue is set up, I actually take the orders for dinner when they register. So I'm actually the one getting their food orders. So I'll connect with the server once everybody's in the room. I've done the introduction and Todd starts talking. I go out and connect with her, tell her we have 2 choices. It's pretty easy. You want chicken or pasta. So I connect with her and get that wrapped up.
Okay, so we get to the end. We get to the end of the presentation. You say you do your closing. Mm-hmm. And then it's dinner time. But where do you go and what happens next? Do you leave? Do you sit down and eat? What are you doing then?
What we normally do is I'll close and then they usually clap and then I'll turn the music on and she'll come in and then I'll kind of leave the room. Mm-hmm. We sit outside of the room to eat, but we eat after everybody has already started and we've done our work. And
I've already chatted, I've already done the chatting with everybody. So we kind of do our little seminar recap, once everybody is done in there.
Gotcha. Compare some notes while it's fresh.
Correct.
Right.
Yeah.
And as she's going through getting everything that we need from the seminar, she'll say, Susie over here has a question or Joe has a question. So I'll come back in. So we communicate very well. So I know who to go see, who to go talk to, because she's working the room. And I'll shake people's hand and talk to them and they'll say, hey, that was a great presentation. People are very complimentary and we just have a good time with them as the food are coming in. And so once they have the food, I kind of just sneak out.
Yeah, we'll leave them alone while they're eating.
Okay. And then how do they, so you've gotten at this point, you've gotten everything you wanted.
Correct. Yeah. So I've already once he's done, I've went back in and done the drawing together. We call them the blue sheet because I always print them on a light blue paper,
Very nice.
Blue sky. So we call it the blue sheet. So I've already gathered the blue sheet. I've done the drawing after I've gathered those. And then I'm out while they're eating, getting the people who've done appointments, getting their stuff together and everything. And then I'll keep kind of checking back and seeing, as it seems like everybody is getting close to the end, that's when I'll step back in. But while they're in the, that 20 minutes probably of like just eating, we don't bother them.
Sure. So then dinner's wrapping up.
Talent
is gone. Do you do like a closing, good luck, good night, God bless, or is it just everyone just kind of?
I'll pretty much just kind of go in and chat with the people that I'm chatting with. I'll go around and ask how was everything, make sure everybody has what they need or whatever. But no, basically Todd did a full close before dinner came in. Okay. So what I do is just kind of the ancillary stuff afterwards.
Love it. So evening wraps up, and then we drop into the process that follows, the follow-up with the folks that didn't sign up, prepping for the people that did. How soon do you start following up with the folks that did not sign up?
Next day, preferably. Yeah. And we have recently started, Todd does videos through BombBomb. So we'll do a video that we kind of more of a generic one, thank you for coming, that kind of stuff, video to go to everybody. And then the follow-up with the people who actually did book appointments.
How long have you two been working together?
10 years next week.
Yeah,
I like
10 years.
My 10-year anniversary is next Saturday.
You're like it's like... To go with your this will be an analogy that's perfect. It is like a pilot with the wingman or wingwoman, where you've got the 2 fighter jets coming in, and you guys are so simpatico.
We
working
feel
together.
very, very lucky that we work really, really well together. We really do. Like, his strengths are my weaknesses. He loves doing this stuff. I do not. He loves speaking. I do not. I love doing the other stuff, and that leaves him free to be able to do the things that he loves.
This is perfect.
Yeah, we really do work well together. That's why I've lasted 10 years.
Yeah. No, we're a great team. Teamwork makes the dream work, and teamwork is the fuel that allows ordinary people to achieve extraordinary results. And so her and I working together, it creates a synergy that we're able to accomplish a lot with just 2 people.
Yeah, you can totally see it.
Yeah.
Okay, I have to. So we're coming towards home stretch here. what's going on with the cash. For those people, if you're listening, I know if you're listening and not seeing this, because you can see the video on a couple different platforms, but if you're listening, Todd has a stack of money, American. It's green. It's pretty.
It's real.
And it's real too. I'm looking right at it. So what do we got going on here? Is this a prop for the
This
from the
is
seminar?
a prop for the seminar. It's another way for us to engage, interact, and connect, and to get the audience involved. And a lot of times at the point that I'll use this, I'll tell a lot of stories to connect, because you always want to touch the heart before you ask for the hand.
Sure.
And so we're always trying to do things to reach that. Here we're trying to touch the pocketbook. And I'll ask people, I said, all right, I have a $20 bill up here. And I talk about with your IRA.
I'm going to stop you right there. The most fun is when he takes a $20 bill from my wallet. Like if I'm in there, he's like, Michelle, can I borrow $20?
And I've even gone to people that are a client, I've given them the $20 and I said,
I'm going to ask
Donna,
for it.
can I borrow $20?
I like it.
And so we try to, stage it a little bit. But I'll ask them, how many in here would buy this $20 for $10?
Sure.
And at first, people are like,
no,
this is a joke.
Yeah.
This isn't real. And no one's doing anything. I said, serious, folks. I said, I have $20 here. I'm going to sell it for $10. Who will give me a $10 bill? Not 2 5s, not a 5 and 5 1s, but a $10 bill. And I walk around the room. I said, there's $20. And then all of a sudden they start slowly getting their wallets out, and somebody will give me a $10 bill, and I'll give them the 20. And I go, sir, how does that feel? He said, that feels really good. I said, how long would you do that for? He goes, I do that forever. And we talk about leverage. And leveraging is taking the least amount of money to create the most amount of wealth in the shortest period of time in the most tax efficient way. And so we go through that, but this really gets them engaged. Now I say we have $10. Who's got a $5 bill for $10? And so now they're getting their wallets out a little quicker.
Now they're faster.
Sure.
Yeah.
So now all of a sudden someone gives me a 5, I give them a 10, and I say, Susie, how does that feel? That feels wonderful. I said, how long would you do that for? She said, I'd do that forever. I said, that's a real good deal, isn't it? Don't you like that word leverage? Absolutely. And then I say, how that I have a $5 bill, who will give me a dollar for the $5 bill? So then they'll come out and give me $1, and I'll give them a $5 bill. And so they'll say, Joe, how does that feel? And I said, it feels good. How long would you do that? I'd keep doing it forever. Now I said, the moral of the story is leverage. So let me ask you a question. I said, who won the game tonight? Who won the most amount of money? And the guy who bought the $20 bill. And I said, Joe, you're right. In fact, you get to buy dinner tonight. And so they all start laughing and get involved. And then I said, no, really, who won tonight? And then they'll pop up and say, well, I won because I got $5 for $1. I said, you got the most leverage. And I said, there's opportunity inside of your portfolio that you may not be aware of, that you could leverage some of that money to create more in the most tax efficient way for you and your family and those that matter most. And so it's just a fun way to interact, engage, connect. It helps our seminars go quick. People are like, wow, we're over already.
Sure.
Wow, that was a great seminar. They got involved. Then they fill out their note page.
Make sure you tell them about what you say when that people that didn't take advantage,
Oh, yeah.
the missed opportunity.
You help me out.
Oh, well, you always say now, he finally, the one guy that finally does get the 10 out, because it does really take a minute for people like,
Sure.
okay, this is set up, this is fake money, something, But the rest of the people said, now, if you would have known about this, wouldn't have you gotten your wallet out quicker?
Oh, yeah, absolutely,
Yeah.
yeah. And I said, well, this is what the banks do. I said, this is how they make their money. And I said, now, if we played this game over, how many would rush to get their wallet out?
But they get their $10 bill out fast.
They all jump up. And then we talk about stories of how clients were at this workshop just like this. They set an appointment. They come into the conference room. I walk them through how we've helped them. So it puts them in their shoes and how they've gone through the process, both from a process standpoint and an emotional standpoint, and what the results are. And so we try to be very interactive throughout the night.
I love the mix of showmanship. It's great.
That is one thing, and I even say it as part of my little introduction, is that you're not going to be bored in our seminars. And that's one thing that I love. Todd has great stories. He's got funny stories. He's got heartfelt stories. We've got a couple of these little things that he does. So people are engaged and bought in from the very beginning. Like, you're not going to get bored and be nodding off, And he's not just up there reading slides. That's it. Who wants to go and listen to somebody? Like, I can read the slides for myself. I don't need you to read them to me. So he uses the slides as a somewhat of a visual and just a talking point, but he does not read slides. And I think that's important.
That is crucial.
Yeah.
All right. Well, so as we wrap here, any big lessons, any big things that you've learned over the years that if you were talking to the young Todd, young Todd's getting ready for his first seminar.
Hire Michelle sooner?
Yes, I have to admit to that. That would definitely be one of the things to do. But if I was going to go talk to Todd Jr., I would tell him, I said, when you work hard on your job, you earn a living. But if you work hard on yourself, you design a life. And so always be growing yourself. Always try to get better at whatever it is you do. So speaking is something that I take serious.
Yeah.
I'm a student. I'm learning it. But we all need coaches. And so I would have gotten a coach and got more serious much sooner than I did. And I was kind of, just kind of forced into it. And, the first time I got up and spoke, my knees had a fellowship meeting. They were shaking so bad. I mean, I forgot what I was going to say, but it just trial and error. And I think prepping is, sometimes it's easy to have appointments that rush off to the seminar and just wing it. I think you really need to set the mind straight and get it to a point where, hey, you're in tune, you're in the zone, you've got it down. And she'll say, who do you talk to in your office? And I go, nobody. Well, you're talking to somebody.
Talking to himself.
I'm actually practicing talking to myself. And go through the seminar over and over again.
And we do keep his seminar days pretty light. He may see, a client or two maybe in the mornings, but we do try to keep his afternoon free so that he can, get his
mindset,
juices rolling and everything, and not nobody wants to go from one thing and then have to immediately redirect to the next. So he has several hours normally before a seminar to just do whatever he needs to do. I take care of all the setup. I take care of everything else. I want him to just be able to show up and do his thing.
All right, I'm going to ask you one last question, Michelle.
Okay.
This is totally catching you off guard here. Give us, for anybody listening to this, that's thinking about doing a seminar, or maybe they're doing them, 2 absolute do's and 1 don't.
Okay. Let's see. Do have a checklist. That checklist is my best friend, because even as many times as we've done it, if I don't go through that checklist and make sure I remember each and everything, everything is on that checklist, the radio, the projector, the screen, and I literally go through the checklist and check everything off to make sure that nothing is missed. Especially if we're at a venue, there's nothing worse than getting to a venue that's not close to your office and there's something that you've forgotten, you're really in trouble. And I never want to have those kind of situations. So I would say my checklist is key number 1. Number 2 would be, I know what my don't is. We actually, because Todd is such he's so keen on being a student. So we have visited other people's seminars, to just sit back, see what other people do, because there's no monopoly on good ideas.
Sure.
Except for mine. Mine are all good. But we went to the seminar and they had no pens. They had no pens. And people literally, because I was sitting kind of back at the registration table, people were coming up to me. I'm not part of this group, asking me for a pen. And I told Todd, I said, that's terrible. Yep. Make sure you have pens for everybody. Don't make people come prepared. I want to make sure that people have everything that they need. They don't have to think about anything but coming and absorbing the information.
I think your do and your don't are almost the same. Your do is have a checklist.
It's my checklist. Make sure pens are on there.
And your don't is don't forget to have a checklist, basically.
Yeah, I guess that's probably true.
I have to tell you both, thank you so much. This this was a great episode.
Thank you, Dennis.
This is what I was thinking while we're sitting here. This is like one of my favorite ones that I've done. And when you saw
say
the
that
door,
to all the girls?
no, I do not. This is like a top 3. Like, this is the best. Thank you so much for being here. I think this will be very impactful for anybody.
Well, thank you.
Doing seminars. Thanks for being here, Todd. You're a wonderful guy. I got to get my $10 back from you. And Michelle, thank you so much.
Thank you, Dennis.
Oh, and don't forget, I guess I have to say this is required saying, don't forget to like and subscribe. If you subscribe, that way you make sure you hear about the latest episode when we drop it. We'll see you next time.
Thank you.